The Echo Box, The Vanishing of the Sound Engineer. Chapter 1. The Abandoned Workshop, 00 to 145. Elias Vance wasn't just an inventor. He was a pioneer in deep sound analysis, a man who believed every silence had a frequency. He worked out of a private, custom-built workshop in the remote Nevada desert. The entire room was a fortress, steel-plated, electronically locked, and perfectly soundproofed. On a Tuesday, his team raised the alarm. Elias had missed 3 consecutive check-ins. When police forced entry, they found a room that was physically untouched. The electronic lock log showed 0 entries or exits for the past 48 hours. His keys, wallet, and phone were resting on his desk. The only sign of disruption was the air. It carried a palpable pressure, a dizzying silence that felt heavier than normal sound. The police theory was simple. He had gone for a walk and had an accident outside. But the one piece of equipment running in the middle of the room suggested something much darker. 2. Chapter 2. The Impossible Silence, 145 to 345. On a small obsidian black stand sat a device Elias called the Echo Box. It wasn't designed to record sound, but to measure the purity of silence. It was a self-contained environment that tracked subtle vibrations, atmospheric pressure, and background noise levels. Police found its internal display frozen. It wasn't displaying an error, but a perfect 0, measured to the 9th decimal place. It registered absolute flawless silence. Below this, a small digital counter was ticking. When forensic experts bypassed the security, the counter displayed a chilling message, not in hours, minutes, and seconds, but in elapsed time from a preset 0 point. The internal log showed the box had initiated its count 48 hours and 17 minutes ago, the exact moment Elias Vance had disappeared. The Echo Box was not a recording device. It was a timer counting the duration of an impossible silence. 3. Chapter 3. The Temporal Paradox, 345 to 615. The deeper investigators went into Elias's computer logs, the more confounding the case became. They found a complex database of audio files recorded by the Echo Box's monitoring system. But the log dates defied logic. Elias had programmed the Echo Box to automatically save any sound anomaly it detected. Most of the files were ambient noise. However, the last 3 files recovered were labeled anomaly dunning exit.wav. The first file was an empty silence dated 72 hours before his disappearance. The second was a short, sharp burst of sound dated 72 hours before his disappearance. The third file contained what sounded like a single, clear, panicked whisper from Elias's own voice, dated 72 hours before he vanished. The chilling paradox: Elias had recorded the audio of his final, panicked moment 3 days before the moment happened. It was a sound anomaly that existed outside of normal chronology. 4. Chapter 4. The Auditory Fingerprint, 615 to 830. Forensic audio specialists analyzed the sharp burst of sound found in the second file. They quickly identified its source, a high-frequency, non-human tone that shouldn't exist in a terrestrial environment. It was an auditory fingerprint associated only with 3 extreme conditions. 1. Deep ocean hydrothermal vents. 2. Upper atmosphere auroral activity. 3. Experimental particle colliders. None of these things were near the desert workshop. But then, investigators found Elias's personal research notes hidden beneath a lead plate in the floor. The notes weren't about sound. They were about frequency mapping and spatial gateways. Elias theorized that extreme, non-terrestrial frequencies could create momentary tears in space, a kind of sound portal that only lasted for fractions of a second. His own notes included the precise auditory fingerprint found in the second audio file, labeled simply the key. V. Chapter 5. The Final Note, 830 to 10. The final piece of evidence was found not in a journal, but on the inside of the soundproof wall, written in glowing ink only visible under a black light. It was a note scrawled by Elias, dated before his disappearance. I heard it. The sound is real. It is not an echo of the past, but the resonance of nowhere. I am going to the source. The box is the lock. The silence is the only map. The truth is terrifying. Elias didn't run away, and he wasn't taken. He used his own invention, the echo box, to track an impossible frequency, a key to a momentary sound portal that opened and closed with flawless silence. He stepped into a space that exists outside of time, leaving his final moments recorded 3 days too early. Did Elias Vance succeed in finding the source? Or did the auditory anomaly transport him to one of those extreme, uninhabitable locations? What do you think is on the other side of the key? Comment your best theory below and subscribe for more deep dive unsolved mysteries.